So most anglers have a 9-foot 5-weight fly rod, but you know what? This goes for any type of fly rod that's single-handed, and it could be like a 10-foot 3-weight, it could be, you know, a 9-foot 7-weight, whatever have you, this can work. The problem is this right here. This is a weight forward standard floating fly line. And the problem is when we want to cast something like this Dungeon on like a 4 or a 5 weight, it doesn't have the amount of energy to be able to throw out some kind of serious payload like this. So enter something called a Skagit head. Now, this is a Skagit head here. There's a couple differences here, and I'm gonna take this line and this line here, and you could probably see already that the standard weight forward fly line on my right, your left, is rather thin. And this fly line here, the Skagit, is rather thick. It's able to take heavier sink tips, bigger payloads, and be able to deliver them with accuracy with basically no backcast room. But if you do have backcast room, these things are like cannons. I gotta go over this whole system because there's so much stuff here. It looks really confusing, but it's actually really simple. So let's start with that. So when it comes to sizing these Skagit heads for your single-handed rod, it's probably the weirdest, most confusing part about it, but rest assured, I'm gonna simplify things. Now, I've got a OPST in front of me. This is a 175 grain OPST head. Now, one thing that's kind of interesting is that it doesn't have a weight rating on here. So we don't know if this is for a 3-weight or if it's for a 10-weight rod. But there is a really cool chart that OPST provides that almost no other fly line manufacturer does. Their grain weight and their charts on their website are probably the best. Actually, they are the best, and I've never had a problem with them. Whatever they say works, but they really are awesome. I'm not sponsored in any way, I just really like their products. So when it comes to sizing these, I'm gonna be putting this on a 7-foot 5-weight. And for that, I'm using a 175 grain. Now, if you were to look on their charts, you're gonna notice that for a 5-weight, you want to use a 200 grain or something around 200, 225, something like that. But because this is a slower action fiberglass rod, I'm taking 25 grains off. And that's kind of how I've always done it. So if I use like a really slow rod, like of course a fiberglass rod, I'm knocking 25 grains off right off the bat. And I found that that works out perfectly. And I could still launch out, you know, bigger flies and everything and still have fun doing it. But at least I'm not gonna overload the rod where it's just gonna kind of turn to mush. Now, any fly rod will do, and any fly reel will do. I'm gonna be using this kind of like mid-arbor, kind of hardy copy looking fly reel here to set up the 5-weight, but there is some preferences when it comes to choosing fly rods and fly reels. If you can, standard medium fast action actually is really good for this type of system. Another thing is when it comes to reels, something with a large arbor reel such as this right here. This is a Redington Run. These are really good too, and it doesn't really matter when it comes to drag. You can go no drag, you can go with something with a nice like little sealed drag or whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. It's just kind of like a line holding device at this point. So in order to make this whole system work, I think we'll work backwards and kind of go from all the way from the backing all the way to the top to the terminal tackle end. And we're gonna do this quite quickly. First things first, at the end of this fly line, you have your backing. Now, from the backing, you're going to need a type of running line. Now, all fly lines, including this weight forward tapered fly line, has a running line to it. Now, running lines are a little controversial because there are people that totally swear by coated running lines, which is what you'd find on your standard, weight forward taper. And that's something that everybody's used to feeling because it's a feel type of thing. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I actually prefer mono running line. Now, this is probably the cheapest running line you can get when it comes to this type of system, and it is Berkley Trilene Big Game. And it's a color called Solar Collector, and I use 40 pound. It's because it's 24 thousandths inch thick, and it kind of is almost the same thickness as like a standard weight forward fly line, running line rather. So for me, it kind of feels a little familiar. It does coil a little bit. It could be a little finicky, but where it has its advantages is that it shoots line further. And if I nick this up in any way, I just cut it off and I put more on because it's super cheap. Now, when it comes to coated running lines, and this right here is an integrated running line. So if we use this Skagit head, I'll get into this in just a second, but if we use like a regular Skagit head and we buy it, just the head itself, it does not have this integrated running line. So this running line here is welded into the Skagit head. Now, that's how you buy it. So if you were to buy a Skagit head with an integrated system, it has a coated running line on it. So keep that in mind. Now, another thing going forward, let's get more into the Skagit head. So as I previously mentioned, you can get a Skagit head with an integrated running line in it, or you can go a la carte and buy a Skagit head just like this. And it's just basically, you know, a head that if you were to break it all apart, it's like, I think this one's 16 feet long. And that's it. It's only 16 feet long, so that's not long enough to be able to cast out, you know, 50 feet, obviously. So you're going to have to add, you know, your sink tip. You're going to have to add your running line to that. Now, speaking of sink tips, Skagit heads are rather thick. And because they're super thick, there's really not a leader out on the market that's going to be able to take all this energy, all this like raw power from this fly rod all the way out to the Skagit head and be able to place your fly accurately. So we need to have some kind of middleman to be able to help us with that. And for that, we can use two products. And those products are either sink tips or poly leaders. Now, they differ slightly. So poly leaders, we'll talk about quickly, are basically regular leaders that are dipped in tungsten. So they're definitely heavier and they come in different types of grain weights, but that's not really the big deal. What it is that they have different sink rates, so different densities. So there are floating poly leaders, like this one is a floating poly leader, and this one's a really heavy sinking poly leader. So they both have their pros and cons and why you would use them, and that's kind of beyond the scope of this video, and I will be definitely touching base on that later in some other videos. But when it comes to poly leaders, they have a nice taper to them, and when it comes to single hand Skagit fly lines, you're going to want some kind of finesse at the end, and single hand Skagit has enough power to be able to carry big payloads. They still have a bit of grace to them, so they don't just like splash on the water as violently as like something like an 8 weight or even a 10 weight. So that's something to keep in mind. On the other hand, we have sink tips. Now these sink tips come in different densities as do poly leaders. So the same thing, like you can get floating ones, you can get sinking ones, you can get really long ones, you can get really short ones. So we'll talk about length of poly leaders and sink tips in just a quick second, but hold on. So they come in different grain weights. So when it comes to sizing up your sink tips and your poly leaders, you're going to be looking at length and weight. So this is a big deal. So when it comes to single hand Skagit stuff, we're looking at around 5 to 8 feet. Okay, and that's probably the sweet spot when it comes to poly leaders and sink tips. Anything more than that, I feel like it's just kind of getting a little cumbersome. But I find the sweet spot for like a 9 foot or a 7 foot is a 5 foot tip, and that could be, you know, like a Mo tip. It could be, you know, like an intermediate tip here that we have. As long as it's just about 5-6 feet, no more than 8 feet, you're golden. So now that we're educated on using tips with our Skagit line, we need to put yet something else on the end of either our poly leader or our sink tip. And that comes in the form of leaders. Now you could purchase a leader like this Rio Skagit leader. Now this is already a pre-made leader, and it will loop-to-loop connect to something like your sink tip or even a poly leader. Airflows have a little piece of monofilament at the end, and you just nail knot on a piece of leader material. Now, this is a 4.5 pre-made leader, and you're gonna be using around like anywhere around 4 to 5 to 6 feet of leader material. But here's something really cool. Buying a leader spool like this, now there are two types. You will have either monofilament like this, or you can use something like this, which is fluorocarbon. Now, when would you use one or the other? Now, when it comes to this is Maxima Ultra Green, and I highly recommend this stuff. It's fantastic. But mono tends to sit on the surface film a little bit more. So if you're using more surface flies or like slightly subsurface, something with a little bit of weight, and you just kind of want to hinge it just a little below to kind of look like something's crippled on the water, kind of give it a few twitches, I'd go with something like this, Maxima Ultra Green. Now, subsurface, when you're gonna be abrading against rocks and stuff, and you're gonna be using heavier tips like a polyleader or, you know, like your Skagit tips, like a Mo tip or whatnot, fluorocarbon is really the way to go. And the reason for it is because, well, it's just that much more abrasion resistant. Another thing is when it comes to the thickness of this stuff. So like your 4s and your 5 weights, this is a big deal. You want to be using something that is appropriate for the Skagit system. And for that, I'm in and around like the 9,000s to sometimes up to 12,000s. So that would be anywhere from like 8 pound to about 12 pound. When it comes to stuff like Cigar Blue Label, you're looking at around 10 pound. But if you want, this is actually really cheap stuff considering how much you get. There's about like 300 feet of it, I believe, in here. And 100 yards, yeah, 300 feet. This is 12 pound. Cigar, and it's the orange STS stuff. And this stuff I've been using now for 2 years, and you know what, it's not too bad. So when it comes to that, I mean, you can use whatever leader material you want, but this stuff's pretty good. Now, I do have right here some tippet material, and I've also used the Absolute Trout fluorocarbon. It's really expensive stuff, but it's really good. And this stuff is more limp. So if you're gonna be using stuff as small as like little soft hackles, you're going to want to use something with a little more floppiness to it. And that's where tippet kind of shines. So I will run like a 2X for that kind of stuff, just because I still want that abrasion resistance. And I might sometimes even go as far as 4X, but I tend to stick with 2X. Okay, so when it comes to flies, there are tons of flies, and I have a big selection here. I will caution you against using really big flies with like a 4 or 5 weight. I want this thing to sink and flow naturally. So sometimes, yes, can I get away with, you know, flinging like a 5 weight and this? You can do it. You can flick it out. But the problem is that it's not going to swim as fine and as beautifully as you can with like a longer rod and a two-handed rod with like a longer Skagit on it, and you can run a bit of a longer leader. Then this fly really comes alive. So I caution against that. Now, that all being said, that kind of goes out the window a little bit is when we want to strip in flies. So when we're going to be animating our flies and not just swinging them, and then you can kind of go ahead and kind of mix and match, kind of play around with things and go a little bit bigger and see what you can get away with. This is kind of as big as I go on a 5 weight. It's got medium dumbbell eyes on this guy. I mean, you could just hear it. It just sinks like a stone. It's great. And for that, I would be using, you know, like a 5 weight or a 6 weight Skagit head, and, you know, like a heavier sinking polyleader to get it down into the strike zone, because we want these things to sink really quickly. So another thing I want to talk to you about are just using like standard like soft hackles. There's just so much fun, and you could still use soft hackles with a light Skagit system. This is something where I kind of go around like the 220 grain to the 170, 150 grain, because they kind of give a better presentation and they kind of sit where I want them to sit without making too much commotion. And that's a big deal when it comes to this stuff. Now, most of the time, soft hackles are reserved for Scandi fishing and for double taper fly lines and whatnot, but you could still swing them with a Skagit system, and I've done it, and I've caught tons of fish doing so. So basically that's it. I know there's a big mess in front of me, but at the end of the day, you need running line, you need a Skagit head, you need some sink tips, you need some leader material, whatever it is, or some tippet, some thicker tippet, and, you know, just a big old pile of flies. That's all you need. And you're going to be able to cast in places that you've never been able to cast before. You're going to be able to cast further than you probably have ever casted before as well. And you're going to be able to cast flies that you were not able to cast before. I hope this was helpful. Please like, share, and subscribe. There's going to be a lot coming down the pipe. Thank you for tuning in to The Great Spey. We'll catch you on the next one.